just like the word says. I mean, each time you read it, you'll pick up something different, and that's good. So, what did you think just overall about these two chapters of Genesis?
Well, one of the things that I picked up as a child, I never understood why my mother really got an understanding of why she always we could not iron and do anything on the seventh day. She always said that that was a day for rest, and that's what God wanted us to do. And I mean, we had to not do anything of any work during that time. The other thing that I picked up in going to a leadership Bible that I have, it said that Genesis was a book where they develop leaders. That's one of the things I got from it.
That's interesting.
I
wonder,
it's in the
first, you see
leadership Bible.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm wondering how did they explain that it's a book for developing leaders?
Yeah, I'll have to look at my notes I got here.
We can come back to it.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Genesis is a book of first.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the first family, the first children, the first sin, the first judgment. You know, everything that pertains to life now, we can go back to Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that pertains to life, we can go right here to Genesis, and we can see how siblings treat one another, how husband and wives react to one another, how when God says don't do something, that's what he means, don't do it. And what we see, the first of consequences of wanting to be disobedient. So everything in Genesis is about the first.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Yes, I looked at Genesis as being a play about how good God is to us, that he created everything that we needed before he even thought about us. He had the plan. He said, I'm going to create everything. I'm going to have it all ready. And the last thing that he did is create man. And he was so gracious when he created us that he breathed into us his own breath. He gave us his own image. And so he made us a being over everything that he created. So that to me shows God's love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I see Genesis. Just those first couple of, the first chapter is amazing to me.
Anybody else?
Ramel. Genesis for me, it represents God, and how for anybody to believe that evolution or we evolved from monkeys or anything like that, the proof is right here, and it's undisputable when you think about it, because when you start dissecting everything God created and how he put everything into place, there's no one that could, I don't care what scientists say or anybody else says, that can dispute that this thing is real. The evidence is right there, and just in the first few chapters, the evidence is right there that God is who God says he is. And for anybody to think that this just evolved or evolution just happened, the Big Bang Theory or anything else, you know, to me, it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And the
It
other
reminds
thing
me of a joke I heard, and I hope I'm going to say it right. I guess there was a scientist, and the scientist was telling God that You know, I can do that. Anything that you can do, I can do. You created man, I can create man. And God said, okay. And then he said, you go first. And then the scientist got ready to reach down and grab dirt. He said, you got to make your own dirt. So, so when we think about what we were taught in school about Darwin's theory of evolution, that's what the thing with us evolving from apes, and the Big Bang theory and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, but where did all of that come from? So that's the question. Somebody else was getting ready to jump in.
I was just getting ready to say, throughout the chapter, what I like most is God says, the word says, God said, let there be light. There was light, etc., etc. But when God gets to the creation of man and woman, God does something different. God reveals herself. God reveals the us being, the Trinity, the power of Yahweh being both masculine and feminine. And God says, well, one could say the Holy Trinity, and God says, let us make mankind in our image. And so that gives us a peekaboo of both the masculine and the feminine side of God. So I always think that's powerful.
Who else? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, Genesis represents a perspective that man has continually, as they evolved over science, they are simply pointing the fact that what's written in Genesis occurred. They have this super telescope now that can see beyond our solar system. And what they're seeing are places where even light cannot travel. Okay? Think about that. God created a form where light, even light, is supposed to be the fastest speed known to existence, cannot travel. And man is finally getting to the point to where they are confirming there are places where light cannot travel. So as man evolves technologically, it's just reconfirming all these things that's been documented in Genesis. You know, the evidence is becoming very plain and very apparent. And for those people that don't believe what God gave us in His Word, I feel sorry for them, you know, because it's right there. You just have to see it.
And Jim, if I could, Reverend Mel, if I could just on what Jim said, and the other thing that's in Genesis in just the first 2 verses is the fact of time. What is time? We have no concept of what time is. And so we look at these things, man described it as day and night, but what is day and night? And so that's where I think the evolutionists get caught up, is they're trying to put 24-hour days in the first day, the second day. You don't know what that first day was or what that second day consists of, right? So it says in the Bible, a day in heaven or a day in God's time could be thousands of years, and thousands of years can be one day. So to me, in Genesis, and when it first starts off, it's just amazing that we have no concept of time. So Jim, the light traveling into places that we don't think it travels, we don't know, because we don't know what time is. Is it linear? Is it progressive? Is it successive? We don't know what time is. We occupy whatever this is that He created for us.
Amen. All right, so let's go on into the text. Can I get somebody to read verses 1 through 5?
I'll read it. In the beginning, I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was the evening, and there was the morning, the first day.
Right. Amen. My sister, my grandmother taught my sister to say, let there be, God said, let there be light, and there was light. That was her verse that she said. And I don't know why, I can't remember the one I was taught, but I can always remember for some reason, God said, let there be light, and there was light. That whole concept of light sparked an interest in me from a very young age. So what can we say about this God that in the beginning, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth?
My theory is, who else is we going to give credit to separate